Could Sorcery have reversed their production vis-a-vis Beta and Dragonlord? I think that what Sorcery did with Beta, the reprints that kept coming out, kind of annoyed the collectors and investors, and a lot of them moved away. And we saw this with the reduced sales of Arthurian Legends as more beta reprints were announced. And then you see Dragonlord, and it's highly limited. And now, on a lot of places online, especially different sorcery pages on Facebook, a lot of players are very angry about the limited nature and just how limited Dragonlord is. And a lot of them claim that they're leaving. And a certain percentage of them will make good on what they say. And I think that if you had reversed the production ideals for the things, then you might have avoided most of this. If you had limited beta after the first reprint, because I don't think there was a lot of backlash against the first reprint, against summer reprint, because people saw that as, oh, they're just increasing the product availability in regions that were underserved. But unfortunately, the people in those regions started selling those to people in regions like North America that were very well served. And so that kind of flooded the market of beta. But then there were more reprint waves. I think there were 2-3 more reprint waves after that point. Canada never got any of those reprint waves until a couple of weeks ago. It's kind of weird that we were ignored for so long. Although, I mean, I did get quite a few boxes on release. And I think I got, relatively speaking, more boxes than people in other regions. And therefore, maybe Canada was overserved at first. Anyway, I'm glad to be able to order some more beta boxes right now at the distribution level, but only because everyone else has had beta boxes. But if there hadn't been any reprints beyond the first reprint, then I also would have been quite satisfied if we had moved into Arthurian Legends, and maybe Arthurian Legends sales would have done better because the collectors and the investors still would have been around. And now with Dragonlord, I am perfectly fine with the idea of a highly limited set, a very sought after, hard to get set. That's fine, but they need to make sure that that's what it is. It can't be perceived to be that now, and then suddenly they're going to dump the market in 3 months, 6 months, a year, whatever, with more of this, right? And if they go back on it, then I think that has the potential to kill the game. At least kill the sales completely of this game. And it's a wonderful card game. It's not necessarily the best card game, but it's really good, and it has amazing art, and it just looks wonderful. And that's what I love about Sorcery. And that's what a lot of people love about Sorcery. That's why it's highly collectible, and it was highly investable. And if they had instead made Dragonlord widely available, I don't think that collectors, investors would have cared that much, because it's a one and done box, right? A collector gets all the cards in one box, except maybe the foils, and they gotta hunt down some more boxes, and they can easily do that by it being widely available. Beta, being more limited than what they've allowed it to be, would have kept those people satisfied, and they wouldn't have cared pretty much at all about Dragonlord being widely available. And then players would love Dragonlord widely being available, and they were complaining about the availability of beta, but it wasn't really a game-ending thing for them. Like, they wouldn't have walked away from Sorcery, because they still would have had Arthurian Legends. And I keep saying this, but I'll go back into it. The main problem is the one set a year. If they stay at the one set a year, any limited amount, any large reprint set, whatever, is going to harm one of the three pillars of what makes a collectible card game thrive. And they can mitigate that by adding sets per year. At least one set per year could solve one of those issues. And a mini set of Dragonlord doesn't count as a set, especially a limited Dragonlord set doesn't count as a release, really. It's more of a, I don't know, it's more a promo card than anything else, right? It doesn't count. A full set of at least 200 cards per year, and 2 of those sets, and you could take beta. You could have taken beta. You could have split it into 2 sets. I mean, I guess you could have taken alpha, split it into 2 sets, called one beta, and called one something else. You know, people have wanted them to continue the naming convention with alpha, beta, and then use the old Magic naming conventions of unlimited, revised, that kind of stuff. But they don't have to do that. But they could have had a reprint set, a core set that had alpha, beta cards, but not all of them. And that's what they could have put out. And that would count as another set per year, right? And even then, you'd probably need maybe a third set per year. So you have an expansion set, a core set, and then maybe something that builds on the core set. That then later, in later years, the core set gets, you know, edited with the new cards that have built on the core set, and maybe some of the expansion sets. I'm not an expert in this. It just seems to me that a lot of people get very upset about some of the decisions Sorcery has made. They don't get upset about the art. They don't get upset about the quality of the cards, the look of the cards, the enjoyable experience of opening the cards, and the thought process that they put into the curios and all the other things. And they don't complain about the gameplay, even though there are some issues with the rules, and also they want, I guess, some people want more competitive gameplay, and they, you know, the company at first wanted to keep it casual. I just wanted to keep it casual, but obviously I'm not the only person here, so there are people that want a competitive gameplay, and that's fine. So they've made good decisions on almost all those other aspects, except this one aspect of how many things they're going to print every year, and also how limited those are going to be and what the reprints are. So I think that they need to maybe reevaluate some of these things, and maybe they will, maybe they won't, maybe they already are. Hopefully they already are. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Have a good day.